Okay, hey everyone. My name's Sarah, and I just first want to welcome you to this call. And we're so glad you're here to listen to our stories. And I'm excited to kick it off by sharing a piece of my story with you. I actually started Plexus 11 years ago. Before that, I really struggled with my health, specifically my tummy. I had been diagnosed with IBS after several testing procedures and really struggled constantly with tummy issues that left me feeling bloated and uncomfortable and exhausted. And it was every single day. I looked 5 months pregnant every time that I ate. And I tell you, I tried everything. I used expensive probiotics, supplements, diet changes, even prescription medications, and nothing was working. It got so bad at one point, I started to eliminate foods one by one until I was down to literally eating crackers and applesauce on a daily basis to just avoid the chronic episodes. I felt trapped in my body and I wasn't functioning the way I was created to. On top of that, I've dealt with anxiety for as long as I can remember since I was a little girl. It wasn't just in my head, it showed up in my sleep, in my mood, in my body, and honestly, it was affecting how I showed up for my family. The gut issues made my anxiety worse, and my anxiety made my gut issues worse. It was like a never-ending cycle. So when Plexus came into my life, I'll be honest, I was one of the few that actually wasn't skeptical. I was like, I'll try anything. I actually found Plexus through my sister, who's going to be sharing on this call later. And I knew if she was giving it to my niece that I could trust it. So I went all in. I ordered. She didn't even know I ordered till the next day. Little bit by little bit, things started to change. The bloating became much easier to deal with, and subtly it went away. My digestion started working the way it was supposed to. I could actually eat normal food again without being afraid of the aftermath or avoiding going out to restaurants. I have even recently discovered that I'm actually not lactose intolerant, which I thought I was my entire life, and I can actually handle high quality dairy. My gut started to heal itself, and I noticed a shift in my anxiety too. I am not saying my anxiety disappeared completely, and if you know me, you know that's true, but it's changed substantially over the last decade. I'm calmer, I sleep great, and I have more mental clarity. One of the biggest differences is I feel like myself again. I actually feel better than myself again. I have energy to be a busy mom. I get to show up in my marriage and I get to pour into a business that I love. My body isn't running my life anymore. I can finally feel in control. For me, Plexus wasn't just about gut health. It was about getting my peace back physically, mentally, emotionally, and showing my kids what it looks like to take care of yourself in a truly holistic way. I was even blessed in the last few years to go through a battle with breast cancer and have optimal health to come through that with like an awesome experience if you can have an awesome experience. But what a blessing, right? I know everyone's journey is different, but I'm so grateful I said yes all those years ago because it's changed so much more than just my tummy issues. It's given me freedom, a sense of peace I didn't know I was even missing. And we all deserve to feel better. We deserve energy and we deserve to thrive at any life stage with any life changes. So, thank you so much for listening to my part of this story. I'm going to let you hear from my sweet friend, Angie Zumwalt.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to share with you tonight, and I am so excited to be followed by my fellow breast cancer survivor, Sarah. I just adore her, and I'm so grateful that God connected us through this journey. In 2014, so 11 years ago, I was just a tired, exhausted mom, just trying to survive. I struggled with bloating, constipation, daily headaches. I had massive sugar cravings, mood swings, daily crashes, poor sleep. Y'all, my health was spiraling. And like Sarah said, I just did not feel like myself anymore. I was taking, living on caffeine. I was taking anxiety medicine to make me feel better, which only made me feel numb to the world. And so I am so grateful for Andrea and for my other friends at church that started sharing Plexus with me because when I say that it has changed everything for me, I truly mean it. Over time, all of those issues that I dealt with um, were gone. I now didn't have to rely on caffeine anymore. I didn't deal with chronic constipation anymore. My mood was balanced, and I finally had steady energy to like show up for my family instead of just like dragging through the day. It also helped even better. It also helped my daughter had a ADHD. She had massive focusing issues. We were having to put her on medication, which again numbed her, took away her personality. And so I was in desperate search for something holistic that could help her. I am so happy to say by putting her on some of these products, it helped me get her off of that medication. And I was so thankful to find a holistic way to help her with her focusing issues. My son also had, at the time, I didn't know what it was. I just knew he had some serious skin issues. And by taking the probiotics, he was able to get that all cleared up. My brother has an incredible weight loss testimony by using Weight Loss Journey. He lost over 160 pounds by using the products as a tool to help him in his weight loss journey. Um, I feel like I could go on and on and on about how these products have literally transformed my life. But thankfully, they have just given me 4 minutes, and I actually had to write off a script so that I didn't keep babbling on. But one of probably the biggest blessing is in 2024, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I feel like God was kind of sometimes you don't know why God put something into your life. And looking back now, I can see how God was preparing me because when I was diagnosed, y'all, my body was prepared for battle. And when I say battle, I went through a pretty tough battle over the last 2 years. And the products help arm and equip my body. But not only that, from sharing the products and working on building a business, I was able to, because of the financial blessings, I was able to fully focus on my healing, y'all. And that was, I can't even tell you what a blessing that was to not have to worry about taking off of work or and if I didn't feel good, I would just lay down, and that was just such an incredible blessing. The products were approved 100% by my oncologist, and they supported me through recovery. They are now supporting me through medical menopause. Um, as I go through hot flashes, night sweats, all of those wonderful things that come along with medical menopause or with menopause all together, and they are supporting my body, and I am thriving. Um, for someone that is, if you relate to anything that I shared, if you're feeling tired, bloated, dealing with headaches, sugar cravings, low energy, maybe you're going through menopause, perimenopause, I recommend starting out with the triplex, which is our foundational system. And you can learn a little bit more about that from whoever invited you on this call, but highly recommend the triplex. The X Factor Plus has been incredible to add on for my menopausal support. Um, and the sleep gummies have been phenomenal for me, even through as I was going through healing, just giving me that like helping me with my anxiousness, giving me like a calm peace, helping me actually so that I could relax and get some rest. So I am just so incredibly thankful that God placed this company, this community in my life, because it has allowed me not just to survive, but to thrive even in the hardest seasons of my life. And I am just so grateful. And I do not remember who I'm passing this over to. Rachel.
Hi, my name is Rachel Neagle, and I think you're going to hear the same story from so many of us. My health journey had also been a really long one leading up to Plexus. For years, I dealt with undiagnosed at first and then eventually diagnosed thyroid and adrenal issues. And if you've ever been there, then you know how exhausting it is going from doctor to doctor, researching late into the night. knowing and that that something is wrong in your body, screaming that something is wrong in your body, and basically being patted on the head and told that maybe you just need an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety, or something like that. And I just kept hoping that I would finally find an answer. I was lucky enough that at one point I found a functional medicine doctor who understood at least what I thought he understood everything that was going on at the time. He put me on some correct medications to help with my thyroid, told me some things to do to help heal my adrenals, diet modifications that were necessary. And that was really a blessing because it was the first time in a very long time that I felt like somebody listened to me and saw me and like I was heading in the right direction. I'll also say that I was in the throes of really, really bad postpartum anxiety and depression. And so that only compounded the underlying thyroid and adrenal issues that I was already having. So even after making, like I said, those lifestyle modifications, tweaking some medications, I just still really did not feel like I was myself. I always tell people it's like I got 80% of me back. My brain felt like it was in a fog most of the time. I didn't know it then. What I know now is that I had a lot of inflammation going on in my body. And it just, if you've dealt with thyroid and adrenal issues, inflammation is an underlying cause, and it's not something that is easily resolved. Even by doing all the right things, I still was not feeling well. And so here is the thing that I would tell you. In all of those years of searching for answers, nobody, not one time, did anybody ever talk to me about gut health? Nobody explained to me the role that sugar was playing in keeping my body stuck. And those were the missing pieces that were happening that I didn't know that I needed. So when I started to see some friends, some that I knew as friends of friends, some that I knew from college, start to share about Plexus on Facebook, part of me was absolutely skeptical. I'm a researcher by heart. I'd already tried all of these other things and they hadn't worked fully. But there was something about the posts and about, I think we always talk about likability and trust. These were people that I already knew and trusted. And I was like, well, if it worked for her, then maybe, just maybe, it can work for me. And so I decided, okay, what the heck? What if this could be different? I decided to give it a try. I put it on a credit card. I wasn't thrilled about that. But y'all, within 3 weeks, and I'm talking 3 weeks, I experienced an incredible transformation. The weight loss that I'd carried around for so long was gone. Like the others described, my mood had lifted, the fog had cleared, my energy was back in a way that I hadn't felt in years. I could function, I could think clearly. And, most importantly for me, I had 2 young kids. I was able to show up and be present for them at that time in their life. But the part of my story, and I know Angie already talked about this a little bit with skin issues, but part of my journey was that I had a rare form of psoriasis called guttate psoriasis. And I had gone to a dermatologist. I had been prescribed a steroid cream that was $1,200 a month. That was with insurance. They did give you like limited time. You can use this prescription card for $25. But y'all, $1,200 a month for a prescription is not sustainable when you're a part-time teacher and your husband is a pastor. So when I very first ordered, all I got was the Slim. Um, Next time when I ordered, I got the triplex, which I know Angie also mentioned. And I started taking the ProBio 5. And that is when something happened that absolutely blew my mind. Because when I started taking the ProBio 5, my skin started to clear. What the $1,200 prescription couldn't even touch, my skin began to clear. And so that's when I was like, what is this stuff? And why is it working? And what am I taking? And I realized it was getting to the root cause of all of those gut health issues. So I am Team Plexus. I've been with Plexus since 2014. It gave me back more than just better health. It gave me back hope, and hope is a huge thing. You know, in the Bible, it says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And truly, when you're struggling with lifelong or even, episodically long periods, it can make you so heart sick and feel so helpless. So to get your joy back, to get your life back, to get your mind and your mood and all of those things back is absolutely incredible. So what I would tell you is after all those years of searching, this product line has been the most life-changing answer that I never expected to find. And I'm so incredibly grateful. And I'm always, always, always so excited to get to share my story. And I think I'm heading off to Megan.
Yeah, hey guys. My name's Megan Griner, and that little one, if you saw on my screen, the little one that was in my lap is Leo. He is my youngest of five, and people that see me with all five of my kids in tow are always shocked when I tell them what brought me to Plexus, because what brought me to Plexus was actually infertility, believe it or not. I had seen Sarah, so her son was actually one of my first graders back years and years ago. And so she had been posting on Facebook about Plexus. And at first I ignored it because I thought it was about weight loss and I didn't need that. And then she started talking about gut health. And I thought that gut health really only had to do with digestion. And so I continued to ignore it. And then she shared a story about a woman who had struggled with some fertility issues herself, and she ended up getting pregnant. And so my ears perked up. And Sarah had no idea that I had been struggling silently with the same thing, and I had that same desire to be a mother. And so that's where my journey began. My cycles for years and years and years had always been really inconsistent, very painful. They would jump from 28 days to 33 days to 38 days, back down to 30 days, all over the place. And I had met with my OBGYN, and we had done all those initial things that you do. We did the blood work, had my husband tested to see if maybe it was on his side of things. I checked my temperature every day. I did all the ovulation kits. And I had even tried a few rounds of ovulation meds that my doctor had given me. And they would just make me randomly cry for no reason. And I remember thinking, this is not how I want to get pregnant. And so I did not pursue those things. And then she started talking about this Plexus stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try it. So I started taking what we called the Fab Four at the time, which was the triplex that you've heard about every other time. And it was our X Factor, which is our multivitamin. And a few months after starting those products, we had a couple procedures done to see if I had any blocked fallopian tubes. And all of those tests came back clear. And so the official diagnosis that I got at the end of April in 2014 was unexplained infertility. And basically, our next options were either IVF or IUI. And so we talked about it and we said, okay, it's April. If December rolls around and we're still not pregnant, then we'll consider looking into something like that. Well, after I had started taking Slim, my cycles began to regulate. And instead of jumping around all over the place, they were either 30 or 31 days, like one or the other. The month that day 32 came, I was 6 months into my products, and this was 2 months after that official unexplained infertility diagnosis. We got a positive pregnancy test, and that kiddo is now 10 and a half years old, believe it or not. And since then, we've added 4 more children to our family. So we have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old who'll be 7 in a couple weeks. I have a brand new 5-year-old, and then Leo that you just saw a little while ago, he's almost 2. And Plexus was part of my story with all of them. I really believe, I know you've heard the triplex over and over, but I really believe that that was what kind of kickstarted everything. My body just needed balance. And one thing that I learned is that your blood sugar is connected to your hormones. And so for me, it just made sense that balancing out one would also help balance out the other. So I took that and many of our other products throughout every single one of my pregnancies, all 5 pregnancies, and I never struggled with constipation. My ankles never swelled. I gained a healthy amount of weight every single time. I also used Hydrate. That was also a go-to pregnancy product for me. My last pregnancy, my midwife was always really impressed with how hydrated I was. And y'all, I live in Houston, and that was in the Houston summer heat. And so for my midwife to be impressed with how hydrated I was during the Houston summer heat, says a lot about hydrate. Another big pregnancy, postpartum product that is a must-have for me is Active, because the rest of my kids didn't slow down just because I was growing another human. So it helped me keep up with them, all their activities, all their shenanigans, and they never missed a beat. I also nursed all 5 of my kids. I'm still nursing my youngest. That's what I was doing when he came in here, and I have never struggled with milk production. So Plexus has been there for me through every single one of my seasons, the infertility season, the pregnancy season, the postpartum season, the nursing season, the toddler season, and now we are in the sassy 8-year-old season. And it has been instrumental through it all, keeping me balanced, one pink drink at a time. The next person that I'm going to pass it off to is my friend Angie. And Angie is someone who has become very dear to me. And she's someone that I never would have met if it weren't for Plexus. So, Angie, you're up.
Thank you, Megan. I'm so excited to share tonight. So, unlike these other ladies that you have heard from, I actually joined Plexus for the business. I don't know how many of you on this call know this, but I had been in the holistic health industry for some time, and I was building a clientele. I was generating an income. And then my husband got laid off from his job on the oil rigs. So we were looking for a way to supplement our income. But the truth is, I love working with people on getting healthy holistically. So I didn't really want to go get a second job waiting tables or doing something different. I really wanted to stay in the realm of health and wellness. And I have fun with social media. I was like, this just seems like a really good fit. What I didn't expect to happen was to feel better on the products. I mean, I know that sounds really weird, but I was hopeful when I clicked join, but I really did join for the business. So I didn't know what the products were going to do for my health. A little bit of background, I was already running half marathons. I was eating a Whole30 diet a lot of the time. I was postpartum with my second kiddo. I did have baby weight that I was hoping to lose. So I was like, well, maybe I could drop some weight on these products, maybe have a little bit better energy, but I didn't really know what to expect because I was already coming into the health and wellness journey. I was starting, really healthy. I'd been taking supplements for a while. So I started on the triplex, the same thing you've heard these ladies talk about, Slim, Probio 5, and BioCleanse. Super basic, but really handles a lot of blood sugar, inflammation, and gut health type of things. Now, when I started on these products, I had struggled lifelong with sugar cravings. At this point, it was like a part of my identity and my personality. I didn't really think, I was really good at willpower through it because I would eat like Whole30, but it just felt like I was like white knuckling, right? Like I'm just gripping the steering wheel, waiting for that next time that I'm gonna like cave and eat a pack of Twizzlers. So, anyways, day 4 of the products, I noticed I wasn't craving like a candy bar or some sugar or something in the afternoon for a pick me up. And I was like, this has got to be a fluke. Like, I've never felt nutrition products work on day 4. Flash forward, in 60 days, I lost 20 pounds, which was a lot of weight loss at the time. Because remember, I was already active, I was already eating clean. It was just for me, the missing piece was the sugar cravings because I would like try my hardest. And even when I was eating healthier, I was eating a lot of carbs I didn't need because I'd be like, oh, dried mango, like it's not Twizzlers, right? But then I'm like eating all of this like extra carb and calorie intake that I just didn't need. That also helped with my energy levels. And so after that 60 days, I was sold. I was like, I am going to be on these products for basically forever because I had struggled with my weight. I mean, I was overweight in 7th grade. So to be able to lose weight and have it feel, I don't want to say effortless because again, I was eating well, I was exercising, but like nothing else had worked like this for my weight loss and my sugar cravings. And therefore, then my energy was better, right? Like everything just felt good. I thought that was going to be the end of my testimony. Flash forward until that fall. So another thing I had struggled with since puberty, since 7th grade, was seasonal depression. And the reason I think that it was seasonal depression and not all the time depression was because of my habits, because running was my depression medication. I would get that runner's high. But in the fall in South Dakota, our days get super short up here. So it would be dark and I couldn't get myself out the door to go run. So I basically stopped my running, my antidepressant, right? Um, and that didn't happen, you guys. So my depression never showed up that year. And I didn't even realize it until it was Christmas. And I was like, oh my gosh, I normally am wading through depression starting in September through October through November. It's just like doing things like getting my nails done, getting extra plants, like anything I can do to try to like boost my mood. And that didn't happen. Um, kind of to add to Megan's story, so we had IUI treatment with our second kiddo. She's my daughter. We thought when I started Plexus, we were done having kids. I have 4 kids, you guys. So we were not done having kids. I through my pregnancy and through nursing my babies number 3 and 4, who are 13 months apart, it did take me a minute to figure out that our infertility was solved. It wasn't just one child. I was like, oh, hang on, no, this is actually better now. We now have 2 bonus children. I would not change a thing. They're such huge blessings. But I will add, so back-to-back pregnancies in the fall. So I had my 3rd kiddo in October and my 4th kiddo the following November, still with postpartum from 2 pregnancies and in the worst season of the year for me, no depression, you guys. So that for me is way more life changing than the weight loss and the sugar cravings and the other things that I was dealing with. Like the low energy sugar cravings, that was all what I would call like an inconvenience or annoying or just, bothersome. But the depression, like it really ruled my life at certain times. So to be free from that was like a giant weight was lifted. It has been almost 10 years that I've been on the products now, and that has not returned for me. So that is a massive blessing. And the business that I started for has been such a beautiful blessing as well. It helped my husband to stay home with us through the birth of our 3rd and 4th kiddo, which was also coincidentally kind of right around the COVID timeframe. So we were all just able to be home then. And then when he went back to work as the kids got older, he was able to choose a job for the hours and not worry so much about what the pay was. So that's really all that I have to share with you. It was a lot of unexpected blessings just because I pulled the trigger on wanting to make some money. I'm going to hand it off to my friend Andrea.
Thank you so much, Angie. I mean, y'all have heard so many amazing stories already, and I'm just going to wrap it up with ours. And this is Ella. She's our 19.
I love it.
She says hi.
Yeah.
Ella has cerebral palsy, but I'll tell you a little bit about our story. So when I first said yes to
Okay.
Plexus, I wasn't even going for health. I started with Slim and a metabolism booster because I just wanted to function every day and maybe feel a little bit better in my skin. What I didn't expect was the health that came with it. Not long after, I had my thyroid labs done, kind of like what Rachel talked about, and the numbers had surprisingly improved. That got my attention. I started asking more questions, and that's when I was introduced to the ProBio 5 and BioCleanse. At the same time, Ella's biggest struggle were chronic constipation and reoccurring UTIs. They were constant. And for years, they triggered seizures. Meds eventually got the seizures under control, but the root issues were still stealing her quality of life. The hardest part, she was only 7 years old, living in daily pain and with her personal space constantly invaded just to get through basic bodily functions. By the time she tried BioCleanse, it had been 4 years since she had a bowel movement without one of us having to physically help her. It was heartbreaking, and it wasn't a life I wanted for her. And on top of that, she was still on baby food by mouth, missing key nutrients. Adding X Factor, which has been mentioned tonight, finally gave her body what it had been lacking. For the first time, it felt like we weren't just surviving, we were giving her body a chance to thrive. I could see changes in her, and I could see changes in myself. That's when it clicked for me. This wasn't just about my energy or my metabolism. This is about my daughter finally having a better quality of life. Once I saw that, I couldn't keep quiet. Sharing started naturally, mom to mom, because if this could change things for us, I knew it could change things for maybe a few others that you've heard from tonight. Over time, that grew into something bigger, community, purpose, and a business. So here's the thing. You've heard from 6 of us tonight, well, 7 if you count Ella. And
Mm.
the truth is, our stories are different. But the thread running through all of them is the same. Plexus works. We're not special. We're not lucky. We simply said yes and gave our bodies what they needed. Now it's your turn. Don't walk away tonight thinking maybe someday. You joined this call for a reason, because something in your health or your energy or even your peace of mind isn't where you want it to be. You don't have to settle for that anymore. And honestly, there really has never been a better time. Tonight, right now, you can get 10% off the entire product line. Plus, if you're brand new, you get 3 full months of free shipping. If you've been a customer for a while, you can still get free shipping on tonight's order. That means you can start with exactly what you need, whether it's energy, gut health, weight support, or targeted help at one of the things we've talked about tonight, and not worry about shipping costs stacking up. But here's the thing, that window closes. The sale doesn't last forever. If you wait, you'll lose the savings, and nothing in your life in your health will change tomorrow because you didn't take action today. I don't want you to miss this. So my challenge to you is simple. Decide tonight. Place your order, take advantage of the discount, and commit to yourself. In 30, 60, 90 days, you could be the one sharing your story. And if Ella and I can do this, I promise you can too. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And get back with the person that invited you. I promise you they want to tell you a little bit more. And you'll have a really great end of your September, and we'll see you in October.